What is up, everybody? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is currently 9:05 a.m. Friday morning. Happy Friday. February the 23rd, 2024, year of our Lord. And it actually just got done raining very hard here. Very, very hard. It rained all freaking night. And so all of my mowing is going to get pushed back to tomorrow. I do have 3 properties that need to be mowed today. Well, I'm sorry, 2 properties. One of them's just getting policed. I'm probably going to do that this afternoon once it dries out a little bit. I don't want to be tracking mud all through my truck and in my house and everything. But anyway, I'm on the way right now. I've got to go pick up 3 bales of pine straw to put out in a spot where I trimmed back some knockout roses last month. And I've got to go trim back a crepe myrtle. It's actually kind of late for that. It's not going to hurt nothing, no, not in my area because the weather's so crazy. And crepe myrtles, man, you really can't hurt crepe myrtles. I know a lot of people are scared to do it after Valentine's Day, but from my experience, man, it is very tough to kill a crepe myrtle. Very hard to hurt a crepe myrtle. But anyway, got to do that, and I've got to cut one tree down, chop it up and haul it off. So I'm going to get all that taken care of. But after I get this pine straw, I've got to run by a dentist office. They reached out to me. A property manager reached out to me, and they're wanting a quote for weekly service from March 15th through October, and bi-weekly from October to March 14th. So I've got a number in my head. I've already got the price in my head at $90 a cut. But the only thing is, the picture that I'm looking at has not been updated in about 8 years. And the picture that I saw, there's not a whole lot of bushes. I say there's not a whole lot of bushes. The bushes that are there were very small. Now, it looks like in the picture that these bushes were freshly planted. They could have grown very substantially since they were planted in 8 years, but I really just want to go by there and physically put eyes on it. That's the thing about quoting jobs, guys. You can pull up stuff on your CRM, but you really, you can pull up stuff on your CRM and use Google Earth and look at the image of it, and get the property lines and things like that, and the square footage, and go off of that and base it off of time. But there's really only so much you can see on Google Earth, and my CRM yard book, it uses Google Earth, and so you can really only see so much. You can't really get a good judge of the terrain. You can't see where your dips and low spots are. You can't tell if it's going to hold water or not. And also, it really just depends on how recently the photo taken has been updated as far as bushes and things like that go. And if it's a small bush, or if the bushes are the same size, it'll be around $90, somewhere between $90 and $110 per service. That'll be bushes trimmed 3 times a year, and 42 services. That includes a spring and fall cleanup. That'll include winterization and startup of the irrigation system, and mowing 42 times a year, and trimming the bushes 3 times a year, or as needed. Some you win some, you lose some. I mean, that's the thing about commercial properties, man. You gotta make sure that things look good, especially your smaller properties or smaller companies. But the thing about it is, you've also got to be careful about quoting commercial properties, because once you're under a formal contract, you're obligated to do whatever that contract says. So you really need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and you need to provide an itemized quote. And it shows how much each service is, shows exactly what you're going to do, when you plan on doing it, and you also need to put in there that all of this is based on the weather. the weather has to cooperate for me to do it on said day. If it doesn't cooperate, we will push it back to the next available date, which is typically the next day or the first day that it's not raining. And you've also got to remember this too, when you're dealing with commercial properties and dealing with contracts, there's going to be instances where you're going to have to piss off some of your residential clients by pushing them back a day or two. That's just the nature of the beast. There's really nothing you can do about that, and that's just a choice you have to make if you decide to pick up commercial properties. And me personally, I'm dealing with both commercial and residential properties, and I don't have many on the commercial side. I'd like to have, I don't know, probably a 70 to 30% ratio, leaning heavy on the residential side because they're a little more easier to deal with than commercial properties. And not saying that commercial property owners are hard to deal with or anything like that, but when you're dealing with a property management company, that's where it gets kind of tough, when you're dealing with a middleman. And there's some commercial properties out there, like smaller mom and pop stores and smaller retailers and smaller restaurants. Sometimes you typically don't have to deal with a middleman company, but most of the time when you're dealing, especially dentist office, large retail accounts, large chain restaurant accounts, things like that, you're going to deal with a property management company, not the property owner itself. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably never even going to see or speak to the property manager. You probably never even meet him unless you already know him personally, But either way, you need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, every contract that is in place, and you need to know what that contract consists of, and you need to make damn sure that you can provide the service that is required in that contract, or have someone readily available that can provide the service for you. There might be some instances where you have to sub out some things, whether it be, most of us specialize in mowing and bushes and cleanups and things like that. Your typical, if it comes out of the ground, I can handle it. If it grows out of the ground, I can handle it. But when it comes to man-made objects like putting inside or doing bush installs or what else? Cut this heat down, man. It's warm in here. Good night. Or dealing with irrigation, sometimes that may be a service that we don't offer, or maybe we just don't know how to offer it, and you need to have someone in your back pocket that you can sub out and lean on. That's why it's so good to network in this industry, man. You need to have friends in the industry, especially if you plan on growing in the industry. But yeah, as far as looking at your CRM, man, you can look at your CRM. That's a good way to get a ballpark figure and send someone an estimate, not a quote, but send someone an estimate, and then tell them that I need to physically put eyes on this property before I can give you a hard quote on it. And there's some instances where they want you to give a very quick estimate, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And some companies look at an estimate as being as good as a quote. Some don't understand the meaning behind estimate and the meaning behind quote. They don't know what the definition is. And I'm gonna tell you something, guys. When it comes to stuff like that, the difference between an estimate and a quote, you need to know the difference. And whoever you're dealing with needs to know the difference. And you need to make sure you explain the difference and make sure they understand that, because that can come back to bite you. But if you have a company that wants you to shoot them a fast quote within the day, and they are really trying to force your hand and trying to get you to be quick about it, chances are that's probably a company that you need to avoid. And the reason being is because if they're that way with giving an estimate, how are they going to be with providing an emergency service, like removing a deadfall limb or tree or something off of their property, or putting down sod in their property and you have to sub it out, or they have a leaking pipe irrigation pipe and they need it fixed immediately and you have to sub it out, even if it's a small pinhole leak, you know. But yeah, I suggest putting eyes physically on everything. It's good to be able to give an estimate over the phone or through email or whatever, but you still need to put eyes on everything you do physically so you can give a hard quote. And that's just my opinion. Like I said, this is only my 3rd year in business. I don't consider myself a pro. I do consider myself to be good at what I do. And my reputation in the area backs that up. But not trying to sound boastful or big-headed or anything like that, but, you know, it is what it is. I think we all need to take pride in what we do. And we all need to look at ourselves as being one of the best in the industry in our area. But another thing is, guys, when you're doing commercial properties, it's very easy to get intimidated. Okay? I don't want any of you to get intimidated. Just get out here and do it. Now, don't get me wrong, if you think it's something that is just too much for you, you don't think you can handle it, especially as a solo operator, then there's nothing wrong with just simply telling the customer you can't do it. And if you want to give them a reason, give them a reason. I typically do. That way I can explain to them the ins and outs and my reason and my insight on things, and maybe they can take that into consideration, and that will help your reputation, you know. But you're not obligated to give anyone a reason, you know. If you don't want to do something or you can't do something, just tell them, man, I can't do it. That's too much for me. And that's all that has to be said. You're not obligated to tell anyone anything but yes or no, and a price if you do decide to do it. But yeah, guys, put eyes on your properties. Be very professional. You know, don't be walking out to these properties with a 5 o'clock shadow and a doggone looking raggedy as hell. You know, carry yourself like you're a business owner, because you may not look at yourself as a small business owner as being a big thing, you know, but you're a small business owner and you have the potential, whether you think it or not, you really do have the potential of making or owning $1 million business someday. And that someday may be very soon. You never know. But carry yourself in a professional manner, and just be pleasant to deal with. And you know, if you're not sure about something, tell the customer you're not sure. I need to go look at this. I need to go do some research and come up with some prices. I need to look at this plant. I need to Google this plant, or not necessarily Google, but I need to go look at my information real quick. I've got an information sheet. I need to go look at my information, find out the hardiness, when the best time to prune things, when the best time to do this or that is, you know. Come up with something to tell them, but you don't need to lie to anyone, but you also, there needs to be, I don't know, I guess there needs to be some gray area there. You know, you don't need to tell everybody everything. If you don't know something, just be honest, you know. Just tell them, like, look, I'm not real sure about this. I need to go look at it first. And then just give me a day or two, and I can give you a direct answer on it and give you a price and give you a, what do you call it, a definite answer on that and a date. But, yeah. Professionalism, confidence, and know your numbers, guys. And above all, you need to make a choice, especially if you're in the growing stages like I am. You need to make a choice. Do you want to pick up commercial properties, or do you want to do residential properties? Do you want to have a mixture of both, or do you just want to do one or the other? Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with any choice you make as far as that goes, but you need to be prepared, and you need to be knowledgeable, and you need to know the ins and outs and the potential of any harm that may come to your business in the process of whatever it is that you do. And you need to have a plan in place for all of it. But anyway, guys, I hope y'all found this information useful. And like I said, I am not the gospel on any of this stuff. I don't consider myself a professional. This is only my 3rd year in business. I just consider myself to be very good and very professional at what I do. And I feel like my reputation will back that up. But anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off here because I'm getting close to my pine straw provider. And I need to get my stuff out and get my card out and all that good stuff so I can give this man some money. But hey, man, like I always say, till the next one, y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. I'll let y'all. Bye.